Prates, Here, he's the guy that really reminds me more than anybody. He reminds me of Alex Pereira. And obviously, he has a persona with that cig, looking like Carlos Mayorga. Yeah, he's beating people, dude, but he hasn't really fought the people that Ian Garry has fought. Man, I don't even know if it's necessarily a weakness, because it's good that he still has that confidence. It's almost like he still knows that he had a close fight again against Rachmanov. And obviously him training at shoot boxing in Sao Paulo, Brazil. I'm not gonna say this, but I did see a video, because people are gonna call me a quitter. Look, 2 months later, my eyes still fucking red.
My name is Triple C. I am the greatest combat athlete of all time.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to this episode of Tape. I'm your host, Henry Cejudo, aka Triple C. And on today's episode, I'm going to be breaking down the highly anticipated fight this coming weekend. I'm talking about Ian Garry versus Carlos Prates. Guys, this is a contrast of two different styles. One that has become very tactical, and one that brings in heavy power and very precise. But this episode wouldn't be possible without our sponsor. That's right, Jimmy Bar, the gluten-free bar that is out in stores nationwide. So make sure you go to your local Walmart or jimmybars.com and start to stock up. Here we have it, man. The tale of the damn tape. Ian Garry, number 7. Carlos Prates. He's not even ranked yet. But Ian Garry, 15-1 versus Carlos Prates, 21-6. This is actually surprising. He's got 6 losses, man. I did not know that. But when you start to look at the record, you start to think, all right, man, he's lost. That's, you know, it's a quite a bit of losses. And I don't think none of those came in the UFC. He has not lost the UFC yet, so that lets you know that, you know, easy. Maybe we're a little too high on him. Versus Ian Garry, 7 KOs, 7 decisions, and 1 submissions. 16 KOs, 2 decisions. Check this out. Three decisions from Carlos Prates. Absolutely crazy. 6'3", the height advantage for Ian Garry. You know, the reach advantage, check this out. A 78-inch reach advantage. Even though Ian Garry is the longer opponent, this guy has longer limbs. 31 to 27 years young for the Irishman. But without further ado, guys, let's talk about the strengths. What are Ian Garry's strengths? I can tell you guys one right now. And he's gotten better at it. And I used to kind of critique this dude. If I watched the first time that I watched him fight, fight in Madison Square Garden. If it was his second or his third fight, but man, he got papped up. But slowly but surely, he's been working. He's been chipping away. He's been getting better technically, and his striking defense has absolutely gone through the roof. He's done a better job of distance recognition. But not just that, man. He really has that. He really has that pump jab. Bah! Right away. He's a 6'3" welterweight. That's freaking huge. That's big, man. You're a 6'3" welterweight and you have a beautiful jab, dude. It'll get you so far. And not just that, but mixing of the strikings and wrestling. Guys, if you guys did not watch that Shavkat Rachmanov fight, it showed a lot. Yes, Ian Garry, you did lose, man, and you probably shouldn't be hyping up Shavkat, but you should let others do that for you. But that being said, man, Ian Garry has gotten better at mixing his fighting. I believe he's a brain that's been taking a lot of things from a lot of people. And obviously him training at shoot boxing in Sao Paulo, Brazil, with Charles Oliveira could really be a difference in this fight. And again, when you're training with a guy like Charles Oliveira, dude, highly, you know, probably the best submission specialist of all time in the sport of mixed martial arts, and you're training with him firsthand, that shit's gonna run out. It's gonna rub off on you. And I feel like that's one area where I think they're looking to maybe explode on. That's one area that they're looking to expose on Carlos Prates. But without further ado, we gotta talk about his weaknesses. And I'm gonna say this one, number 1. And this may be his first number 1. This may be, man, I don't even know if it's necessarily a weakness, because it's good that he still has that confidence. It's almost like he still knows that he had a close fight again against Rachmanov. Rachmanov didn't finish him. But either way, guys, I don't know if this is necessarily a weakness, even though that the fact that he did lose. I'm gonna have to scratch that off. But I will say this, he is a slow starter. And that's one area, man, when you get somebody that, you know, the shit talking starting to go out, Ian Garry starting to say that Carlos Prates is a quitter, then he's showing the video. I mean, he's making it viral, but he's doing a good job of selling that damn fight. And that's something to be said. And against Carlos Prates, is he does have he doesn't have that KO power like Prates. The Prates will put you out to sleep cold. I'm not sure if Ian Garry really has that, and I think that's just maybe based more on an ability. Do I see him maybe getting a TKO in the later rounds? Yeah, but an out cold punch, that's a question mark. But other than that, I mean, there's one thing that he does do that Volkanovski does the same thing, but he's been able to become world champion is he drops his hands when backing up. They'll do this. Man, one, you're susceptible to get kicked, and then two, there's a takedown coming in. I don't see takedowns from Prates coming in, but he will chew that leg. And if Ian Garry is going back, it only takes a certain amount of calf kicks where you really start to lose that mobility, and then you start just chasing people with hands. And with a good counterpart like Prates, you're gonna have to be careful. But without further ado, man, let's talk about let's talk about Carlos Prates. What are his strengths? Here, he's a guy that really reminds me more than anybody. He reminds me of Alex Pereira, someone that just physically super big, super tall. You know, they came from the kickboxing world, but they've been able to make a living off of just putting people out, knees up the middle, straight punches. Just talk about somebody that has really caught the rhythm of his damn hands. And then obviously it's he's got that. And it's not just him, but it's all the fight nerds. You got Gene Silva, you got Mauricio Hufi, you got Boralho. I mean, you got all these guys that are just stepping like they are within next year, dude. Every one of those guys could fight for a title. Right now, I think the closest person is Boralho, but man, Gene Silva playing all those These guys are really moving, and obviously he has a persona with that sig, looking like Carlos Mayorga. I mean, he's definitely selling it, but he does have that championship mentality. He's watching all his teammates become successful, and he wants in on it. Knees and elbows in the clinch. Whenever he's in the clinch, boom, he's taking advantage of that area. That's one area in MMA where people, if you're fighting against a wrestling, you get in the clinch with them, he's going for a takedown. Could Ian Garry take it there? But either way, he gets lethal with the knees up to the side, elbows off the clinch. He's slicing and dicing people like you wouldn't believe. And again, Pereira, these guys, they know their distance. They know their distance very, very well. And that's what's going to make him very, very problematic. But I will say this, Ian Garry did fight Michael Venom Page, who understands distance very well. He was able to catch him and fight him strategically and tactically, and he was able to get that victory. Yeah, now let's talk about Prates' weaknesses. Yeah, he's beating people, dude, but he hasn't really fought the people that Ian Garry has fought. You know, Ian Garry has put some numbers on some people. I think the only competitor they maybe have in common is Neil Magny. And sometimes styles make fights, but either way, he hasn't really fought the who's. Like nobody, can you name somebody other than Neil Magny that Carlos Prates has fought? This is where things change. People love striking. The UFC loves striking. They love the spectacles. But when you get to the top 10, you get to the top 5, everybody has a little trick up their sleeve. It could be wrestling. You hope it's not wrestling, because wrestling is the toughest art to fight, and this is why the sport has always dominated. And again, I'm not gonna say this, but I did see a video, because people are gonna call me a quitter. Look, 2 months later, my eye's still fucking red. But it is what it is, and everybody has their own way of understanding that, hey, you fight till another day or you die on your shield. But either way, Ian Garry did pull out some videos saying that he quit, and obviously, you know, maybe it was for him to fight another day. But either way, this is a question mark. Is Ian Garry does Ian Garry have some insight on that? And again, I mean, those SIGs, guys. I mean, Triple C likes some of that Mary Jane, but we know Carlos Prates likes some straight SIGs. And you have to be careful there, man. That stuff is, it's not just the willpower. That stuff causes cancer and it will affect your lungs. But apparently it's been working out for him. And then the grappling. How is the grappling? Can he really bring that defense up to par? Will Ian Garry take that? He's gonna have to take it there because it's almost like he's gonna have to give that same game plan that he did against Michael Venom Page. He's bringing it to Carlos Prates. Here we have it. Stats by numbers, strikes landed per minute for Ian Garry Machado, 4.72 to 4.39. In other words, he's throwing more. Strikes absorbed per minute. Wow, Ian Garry wins that too. That means defensively, he's gotten so much better, guys. He throws us and he actually gets hit more, which is kind of crazy. Takedown accuracy. Wow, I wonder if Carlos Prates only has one takedown. I've never seen it. One takedown, yeah. So he's 100%. But I'm not sure if he's actually going this. He has one takedown, so he's 100%. Jesus, not even the Triple C has that. Takedown defense, wow. Okay, this right here is impressive. You know, or either that or it may bite the UFC or him in the ass is the fact that he's just been fighting nothing but strikers. You know, yeah, he did fight Neil, but Neil's not like a heavy wrestler. He'll just scrabble in every position to try to just end up use a lot of that funk. You know, submission average. I love looking at the stat board because it kind of gives you guys of where their strengths are and where you could more likely possibly expose, you know. But who is it, man? I like the fighting nerds. I really do, man. I like what they're doing. The coach out there, man, he's doing a tremendous job. Who am I going for? I am going for Carlos Prates, but I will say this: who am I putting my money on? I mean, that's where it gets tricky, man. I like Carlos, and I hope he proves me wrong. But if I had to put my money on with somebody for this fight, the way Ian Garry fought Shavkat and the way that he beat Michael MVP tactically, like this guy, he's understanding not just the fight game. He's understanding how to be a competitor, and especially in a 5-round fight, a 3-round fight, I may switch it up and maybe go with Carlos Prates, but because it's a 5 and all those SIGs, I mean, things will eventually catch up to you. So for that reason, man, I gotta go with the Irishman, Ian Garry Machado. And I like Carlos Prates. Carlos Prates, I hope he don't block me. I hope the fighting nerds don't block me. But this is just strictly business. And what I'm thinking stylistically, I think he needs a few more fights and fight somebody maybe not so top tier. Because Ian Garry, we talked a lot of shit. I've talked a lot of shit about him too. But there's one thing that he has done. He's very passionate about the sport of mixed martial arts, and he has gotten better, and particularly in that defense. Tactically, again, guys, when it comes to the high-level guys, he may just squeak out the win, and that's it. But it's all about winning, whether you win by an inch or a mile. And that comes from freaking Vin Diesel, right? Fast and Furious. But either way, guys, that's my prediction on the fight. Hope you guys tune in. But either way, guys, this episode wouldn't be possible without our sponsor. That's right. I'm talking about Jimmy Bars, a gluten-free bar that is out in stores nationwide. So we like cookies and cream or citrus bursts. Guys, you can go to your local Walmart, pick some up, or you can go to jimmybars.com and get your Jimmy on. Till next time, I'm out.